I'm here at the 2023 Unleash conference in Paris, and I'm standing next to Adam Gordon. Not for the first time. First time was in...
It was here in Paris, I think in 2016.
2016,
yeah.
So now we're a little bit older and wiser.
Yes, a little bit more grey hair, definitely wiser.
And with a new name, because now you're here with poetry.
Yeah, that's right. So first time we met was with Candidate ID. That was a fun business, learned a lot. Went down a lot of cul-de-sacs with that company. Spent most of my time actually learning how to build a technology company, because I hadn't done it before. But now I've got that learning. I'm very enthusiastic about building this next business, poetry. So yeah, it's great to be here.
So poetry, what is it?
Poetry is a recruiter enablement workspace. What that means is it brings together many of the solutions that a recruiter needs to accomplish their tasks. And so from the research that I've done, I did over 200 hours of research this year with focus groups and one-to-one interviews with people around the subject of recruiter enablement. And what I found was recruiters have got two big problems. The first is what we call toggle tax. The amount of time spent going from one app to another app to another app in order to achieve little tasks, and that's really stressful, and it's time consuming, and it's expensive. It's a real waste of time and money. So we wanted to bring together many solutions into the one workspace to eliminate or certainly reduce the amount of time spent on toggle tax. Then the second thing was recruiters are writing a lot of content, whether it's a first stage outreach message, it is a social media post, it's a job advert, it is handling the hiring manager's objection or handling the candidate's objection, an elevator pitch. There's lots and lots of different reasons why recruiters need to use written and visual communication today. And typically what they're doing is they're reinventing the wheel. So they're writing something that one of their colleagues has already written for the same use case last week or 6 months ago. So we're making the process of accessing, managing, and creating content much easier within this recruiter enablement workspace.
So how did you come up with the idea?
I spent a bit of time over the last few years getting to understand the concept of sales enablement. What's the sales enablement process? What does sales enablement technology do? And that was really inspiring, because as I'm learning more about it, I'm thinking, yeah, hang on, where do recruiters store their playbooks? How do they know what content assets to use and what content to use and what policies to identify? And it was just quite clear to me that there was an opportunity for us to learn some best practices from sales enablement and bring them over into recruiting. It's what we did with Candidate ID. It was effectively marketing automation technology, Marketo, for talent acquisition. And I really believe that we can close the gap between where we are in recruiting technologies versus sales and marketing. And I hear people say things like sales and marketing is like 10 years ahead. I don't think it's 10 years ahead, but it's certainly more than 2 years ahead. And if we can try and close that gap, then that's like my mission. Over the next 10, 15 years, that's what I intend to do. And the next one is recruiter enablement, and so it's another exciting journey.
So the name poetry, why the name?
Recruitment, I believe, is an art form. There are many different ways that you can get that job filled and fill up that talent pipeline and enhance your employer brand. And so I think there's a lot of art involved in that process. And much of it is to do with written words. Much of recruitment there's written words used in 20 different stages of a recruitment process. So poetry is all about beautiful words that make people feel a certain way, and recruitment should be about the same. So that's why poetry.
And it's also content.
Well, it's content, absolutely. It's beautiful content, makes people feel good, or puts them off, which is another important aspect of employer branding. Your employer branding should attract the right people, and it should put off the people that are not suitable for your organization. Poetry is not all. One piece of poetry is not something that everybody loves. I might like it and you don't like it, for example. So
is it for every recruiter, agency recruiter, corporate recruiter, big company, small company?
Yeah, I mean, we've optimized this product for talent acquisition and RPO teams. However, we have got recruitment agencies who are using it. They've signed up for their workspace. And, I mean, there's not a huge difference in terms of, like, the biggest difference between an employer and an agency or an RPO is really at the applicant tracking system level. But in terms of the assets and props and calculators and scripts and things that they need to do their jobs and to attract the candidates and to handle the different processes, there's not a huge difference. So my network is really within the RPO and the talent acquisition space, which is, I think, why we've kind of really aimed to optimize it for that. But no, we're for every recruiter. And in fact, what size of company are we for? We don't know. We launched last week. We went into private beta 7 weeks ago. We actually formally launched the product last week. What size of company is it for? It could be for a mega enterprise that's trying to do this today on SharePoint. But what we found is that SharePoint's an unappealing experience for users. It's difficult to find things. And a lot of the words on there are not familiar to recruiters. So it could be for that type of organization. But we've got a lot of more mid-sized and nimble kind of startup type businesses which are using it as well, where they've got very sophisticated recruitment teams. A lot of the companies that have come aboard, there's 80 companies come aboard so far. A lot of the companies that have come aboard are actually pretty new teams where they're almost starting from nothing. And they're going, okay, Poetry could be really almost like an intranet, almost like our knowledge management space. And so instead of building out somewhere else, we'll build within Poetry, and we'll use this as the blank canvas. We've got examples and like templates for almost everything, from questionnaires to candidate interviews to hiring manager commitment policies to, so new teams could start with a lot of that content, and then as they go to develop their own, they can get rid of that and swap it out with their own. So it's one of the exciting things about Poetry is we don't quite know who it's for yet. So we're not gonna go, this is for mid-sized healthcare organizations, when we think we've done quite a good job of making it accessible to most recruiters.
So, and it has integrations with ATSs, for example, and other tools, or?
We're enhancing this product every single week based on the feedback that we're getting from our beta customers and from the companies that are now coming on board, having launched. We have had a number of companies say, we would like an integration with our applicant tracking system, and we will do whatever is going to make recruiters' lives easiest. So if a number of companies say, we want an integration with iCIMS or with another one, then we'll go and make that happen. But at this point, we haven't quite established the exact use case, because managing the vacancies and managing the top of the funnel, there's no candidate profiles within Poetry. So we're waiting for that really compelling reason why we should go and make that happen. Once we have that, we'll definitely go and make it happen. But in terms of integrations, integration with OpenAI for building out your outreach messaging and your objection handling and your job adverts and things like that. We've built a prompt engine in there, which makes it really easy for recruiters. They don't need to be expert prompt engineers to build beautiful content, because we've templated a lot of it for them. So integration with OpenAI done. Integration with Bard and Bing will be within the next couple of weeks, so that companies can choose which large language models they want to apply. Integration with other recruitment technologies that they need to transfer data back and forth each direction. We'll do them if companies ask for it. But typically within their sort of workspace, they will have a tile for their applicant tracking system and their video solution and their assessment solution and their CRM. And so you don't need an integration for that. That's just, you put in the URL for the login page, sits behind the tile with the image of the the company's brand on it. They click on that and it opens up their ATS, or it opens up their video solution or their assessment product or whatever. So quite light touch, I think, at this point.
So it's like a dashboard you can set in like you want them to be.
Yeah, exactly. Every company's, we call our dashboard mosaic. So it's another art form. The mosaic and the tiles. Every company's mosaic is different. according to the solutions that they want to use. And it's really easy to add additional tiles for additional third-party solutions. And it's really easy for them to switch off tiles that we've built into the product. So if they don't want our rec management solution, for example, then they can just switch that off because they're already doing that in their applicant tracking system. We don't want to duplicate efforts that are, anywhere else.
So how does it work for a recruiter? They go to your website and make an account, and then?
Yeah, so there's one free workspace and one free admin account for every company. And the reason we're doing that is because there's a lot of companies where there's maybe only one recruiter in the business. We don't want them to have to pay for it. It's just like, but what they'll do is if they have a beautiful experience within Poetry, they'll tell their friends. And then for the larger organizations, what we found is sometimes somebody will sign up through the website at poetryhr.com. They'll sign up for their free admin account. They'll scout out the workspace. There's over 40 different solutions in there. So they'll take a look at which are all the solutions we're going to use and maybe map out what's the order that we're going to roll them out for recruiters. They may start to build up the content assets in the libraries, add in the policies, add in the templates. And then after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, once they've set up the shop, they'll invite the customers in, the customers being the recruiters, of course, so that it's a well-stocked shop. That's maybe one of the kind of ways that companies are doing it today.
And so it's like a tab in your browser, and every morning you open it and you can work from it.
Yeah, correct. So our intention is that we become one of the first 4 things that a recruiter uses every day. Hung Lee said a recruiter's got their applicant tracking system, they've got their email, they've got LinkedIn, and maybe the 4th thing is Poetry. So if we're the 4th thing to start with, then that's great. We want to become the first thing because we've added so much value into this product that it's the first thing people open in the morning. Because it's filled with things for them, tasks for them to do, and it's filled with all of the assets and props and things they need to fulfill those tasks.
So you add every week new integrations, new features. So can you tell us something about the roadmap already for 2024?
Yeah, so we're working at light speed right now. We're working. I've never been in a company. And I don't think I've ever actually seen a company that has developed a software product so fast and developed like the business so fast. So we're keeping it very, very lean at this point. There's literally 2 of us in the company, a tech founder and a non-tech founder. And I mean, the tasks that I'm doing are quite varied, as you can expect. But yes, we are adding new features. We're enhancing the product every single week based on the feedback we're getting. The thing that I'm most excited about, which we can't do yet, we can only do when we've got sufficient data, is automatic coaching. So Jasper and Martijn are both using Poetry. Martijn is creating lots of content, but not getting very many likes or positive comments from his colleagues, whereas Jasper is creating a similar amount of content, but is getting lots more smiley faces and lots more, this is wonderful, we should all use this one, comments. Okay, Martijn gets a message to say, go and spend half an hour with Jasper to find out how he's going about building his content because it's getting better peer review than yours. That type of automatic, or Jasper has written a 10-word subject heading, message comes up automatically. We recommend getting rid of 3 words. 7 words is optimal for success for this subject heading. So automatic coaching going into managers and in-app coaching for recruiters as they're actually, achieving their tasks. That's all about collecting data. We don't have enough data yet. Going into 2024, when we've got thousands of recruiters in using this every day, we'll collect the metadata across every customer account. And then the second exciting thing for next year is, today, every company has their own workspace. Going into next year, we're going to allow smaller organizations with teams of maybe up to 5 to join a global workspace where they can all collaborate with each other. So the deal is, if I put in some outreach messaging in there, then everybody gets to access that, but I get to see everybody else's as well. So a rising tide lifts all boats. Somebody like a bank is not going to ever use that type of thing, whereas a smaller company might be more tempted to. So that's another development early next year that we're going to launch to the market, and we're very excited about that also.
One thing I forgot to ask, I read on your website or socials, the recruiter can save over half an hour a day with using. How does it work, and how did you mention that?
Yeah, so
Measure that. Sorry.
yeah, we measured it based on how long are people taking to go between one task to another, and how much time are people spending on creating content. So from the research that we've done, now I am not like Ipsos Mori or Nielsen IQ, so I have to say that you just have to take my word for this research. We did some polls on LinkedIn, and we did some outreach to people. So we estimate 31 minutes of time saved. That is a considerable saving around the time taken to create content. We understand 90% of the content a recruiter writes has already been created by somebody else in the team. And so they're saving a very large amount of time from that. But the other amount of time is about 8 minutes is from people trying to find the different solutions they need to accomplish their tasks. And like going into WhatsApp, what was that thing again that allows me to interrogate TikTok profiles and find people's email addresses? It happens all the time. I can't remember who sent it to me. I used it last week. What's it called again? Well, if it's all on your dashboard, it's taking you something like 3 minutes instead of 11 minutes, every day to achieve that.
Thank you very much, and good luck with poetry.
Thank you very much, Martijn. Good to see you again.